Okay guys, today we are starting the speedrun. Obviously, I'm not a title player, and so my insights may not be quite as advanced as some other ones that even I like to watch. I really like watching speedrun content. But what I think I'm going to bring to the table with this particular concept of a speedrun, as somebody who started playing chess, literally learned how the pieces moved like 2.5 years ago, I personally remember what it was like to be in the rating band that of the same people that I'm going to be playing. And so I remember how I thought when I was a lower rating because it was so recently. A lot of title players haven't been, rated 200 since they were little kids, right? We won't be talking about specific opening theory. That's not what this is going to be about. It's very much like 0 to hero. We're just going to start with the super basic concepts that you need to know, basic principles, basic questions you should be asking yourself. No, but honestly, if you're like a higher rated player, there's actually also some stuff to gain from this, because I think as somebody who I often play people, especially in over the board tournaments, who are a lot lower rated than me, and when I was first starting to like do that and face like a lot lower rated opposition, I had the tendency to think that I needed to win a lot faster for some reason, and so I would play really crazy out of the opening, and it often came back to bite me, and so I would lose like a ton of rating points over the board just because like I wasn't playing just like a normal person, you know? I was trying to like game the system and get a quick win. But if you just follow your opening principles, you can just kind of play good chess and your opponent will theoretically just fall apart. Okay, we have the black pieces and we have d4. So, right off the bat, opening principles. You want to control the center. These are the center squares. You want to control these with pawns and pieces. So we're going to take an equal share of the center by playing the d-pawn forward. Simple stuff. Okay, the knight comes out. And so the three things that you need to do out of the opening: control the center, which I just talked about, develop your pieces, by which I mean mostly the minor pieces, so the rook, or the rooks, the knights and the bishops. The rooks will come into play later in the game when there's fewer pieces and pawns on the board and they can use their open lines that they have the ability to use. And then get your king to safety. So we're going to continue with development. I'm going to move the knight out. Typically you go knights before bishops, but that's not always the case. It really depends on the opening. Okay, knight out. So we can move this bishop out. We can move this knight out. Usually in d4 openings, it's best to keep this as a possibility to play. So I'm thinking to move the bishop out. Let's just go here. Kind of a reverse London type of thing. Develop the queen, push pawns, activate the king. You're getting it right, Boyshak. Okay, so when our opponent makes a move, there's a question we should ask ourselves. What does that move do? So what does this move do? It, gets the queen off the starting square. It's developing the queen. The problem with this move is it's blocking in the bishop, and usually you want to develop your minor pieces, like I said, before you develop your major pieces, like the queen and the rooks. So I would say this is not a good move. It's also generally not a good move to move your queen out in the opening, just because there's more pieces on the board, and so there's more chances for it to get trapped. So I imagine they're going to look at something like this and try and get our bishop, but we can just protect the bishop and continue developing pawns like this. And now notice with this pawn move, it also opens up for our other bishop to come out. If this knight were to move and attack the bishop, we can just slide back, like it's all good. Open up the rook. I don't think that's what they're going to do. Is this a speedrun to a specific rating? I am not quite sure what rating we're going to go to. I think at least 1,000. so it's going to be mostly just a beginner speedrun. But depending on how it goes, we might go for like 1200 or something like that. Alright, what does this move do? It seems to give up a pawn. I guess the question then is, what if the rook comes over, attacks the bishop, and then we might lose this pawn? But if we calculate a little bit further, after takes here, if the rook moves over, we can actually trade here, and after the queen takes, we can actually just slide the queen over or like push this pawn to protect it. And I think that's okay. I don't think this is a poison pawn. Yeah. Alright, let's take the pawn. I like free stuff. Let's take the free stuff. Yeah, thanks, Farze. I appreciate it. Alright, yes. Okay, queen moves out. And so, yes, what does this move do? It kind of pins the knight to the queen, but it doesn't really because it's a queen. The other thing this move does is it undefends this knight. So if we take it, it's going to be with check, and then we're going to win even more material because it's technically a fork. Because if the bishop comes out to protect, we win the rook. So let's take more free stuff. Yeah, opponent got the memo to develop the queen. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, the full VOD will be available on a new VOD channel that I created. So I'll probably, on this first one, be linking that in the comments. So you can check that out if you want to watch more of this. Uncut, unfiltered. So what have we learned so far? Development. Get our pieces out. Don't move the same piece twice in the opening. And take free stuff. That's all you gotta do. Only 12 minutes left to burn. Yeah, see, this is the problem, is a lot of times we might get people who just kind of sit and make us wait. So we'll have to learn to make conversation. So how's it going, everybody? Okay, and we get resigns. Nice. So let's just take a quick look. There's not too much to review because it ended pretty quickly. Oh my gosh, I got 100% accuracy. No way, I've never gotten this in my life. Hold on. Look at this. Okay, so book moves, book moves. These are all book moves. Best move. Yeah, so one thing I would recommend to my opponent is before you move a piece to a square, you gotta look at the entire board. And what I've heard is a lot of times beginners, like just on the basis of just starting out with chess, can only see like a 3-square radius around a piece that they're about to move. And so, you know, long diagonals are kind of a weakness oftentimes, especially when the piece is like still undeveloped. It's kind of hard to see. But before you move a piece to a square, you gotta look at the whole board, make sure there's no piece that can capture that piece.